As we move away from our stop here at King Street Wharf, we will get a great feel of how Sydney is constantly changing with the times. Whilst on our left we have old dock areas, many of which since the slowdown of sending cargo by sea fell into disuse, to our right we have the modern glass skyscrapers that house many international companies who've chosen to make the city of Sydney their base. One of the dock areas that is still actively used is that of the Overseas Passenger Terminal, which is across to our left. It is here that cruise ships that can get under the harbour bridge will land their passengers, while taller vessels such as the QE2 will land at Circular Quay by the Rocks area. The rest of the old warehouses and docks in this area, known as Walsh Bay, are now being refurbished for new uses. Some are destined to become waterside apartments with amazing views over Sydney Harbour, whilst others are transformed into centres for the performing arts. Coming up to our left shortly, we will see some of Sydney's famous finger walls. They are named finger walls because of the way that they stick out to the water like fingers on a hand. Made of timber from the turpentine tree, which resists seawater, all these wharves are under heritage protection. Here in Sydney, if a building is put under heritage protection, nothing external can be changed. However, the interior can be refurbished. This often leads to old buildings finding new uses. An example of this can be seen on our left, where wharves 4 and 5 are now homes to the Sydney Dance Company, the Sydney Theatre Company, as well as the Sydney Philharmonia Choirs. Coming into view directly ahead of us, we can see one of Sydney's most famous landmarks, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the coat hanger. Work started on the bridge in 1923 and it was completed in 1932. It gave over 3,000 men full-time work for 9 years during one of the worst depressions this country has seen, thus giving it the name of the Iron Lung. Today it is more commonly known, as I mentioned, the coat hanger. The opening ceremony was interrupted by one Francis de Groot, who decided that in the name of King and Empire, he should be the one to open it instead of the governor. He rode forward on his horse and cut the ribbon with his sword. As you guessed, he was quickly led away by the authorities, while the ribbon was put together, reset, and the opening proceeded without further interruption. The bridge was designed by Sir John Bradfield and is said to be based on the cap badge worn by the Australian soldiers depicting the rising sun. Today it is possible to climb the bridge that gives spectacular views. However, it is not for the faint-hearted. The bridge itself carries more than 150,000 vehicles a day across an 8-lane highway. It also has 2 railway lines, a cycle track and a pedestrian walkway. Now, maintenance, as you'd expect, is a perilous occupation. 16 men were killed during the building of the bridge, while the painting of the bridge is a never-ending task that uses over 30,000 litres of paint per coat. Paul Hogan of Crocodile Dundee fame was once a painter on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. True story. If you'd like to explore this area of Sydney, you will need to alight at our stop here at Campbell's Cove.